Imagine this, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and you wake up once again with that all-too-familiar urge to use the bathroom. You shuffle out of bed, switch on the light, and sigh as you think, why can't I just sleep through the night anymore? For many older adults, this nightly interruption, called nocturia, becomes an exhausting routine. It doesn't just steal rest, it steals energy, mood, and even health over time. But what if I told you that there are natural, simple foods that could gently support your bladder, ease those nighttime trips, and help restore the peaceful sleep you deserve? That's exactly what we'll explore together in this video. And before we dive in, let me gently encourage you, if you find value here, consider subscribing and sharing this channel with a loved one. Because when we learn together, we live better together. Now, I want to start with something important. Nocturia isn't just about inconvenience. It's about quality of life. When older adults are forced to get up multiple times at night, studies show it increases risks for falls, fractures, and daytime fatigue. It affects relationships, because your spouse may be disturbed too. It can make you feel older than you really are. I've heard countless seniors say, I just thought it was something I had to accept. But the truth is, while aging does change how our bodies handle fluids, there are very real, gentle steps you can take to support your bladder health. One of the most comforting parts is that the foods I'll be sharing with you aren't exotic or hard to find, they're simple, nourishing, and have been part of traditional diets for generations. Let's pause for a moment and think about the power of food. As Hippocrates once said, let food be thy medicine. Many of us grew up in a time when food was whole, fresh, and unprocessed. Over the years, convenience often took over, but your body still remembers what it feels like to be nourished by nature. When you give it the right foods, especially at this stage of life, it responds. And that's why today, we're focusing not on supplements or complicated regimens, but on 3 bladder-friendly foods that can bring comfort, balance, and relief naturally. But before I reveal the first one, I want to acknowledge something personal. If you've been struggling with getting up at night, you may also feel embarrassed to talk about it. I've seen men and women alike avoid bringing it up with their doctor, thinking, it's just part of aging, or, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining. I want you to know, you're not alone, and you're not complaining. You're advocating for your health, and that is something to be proud of. The foods we'll talk about today are not only bladder-friendly, they're gentle on your overall health, making them an easy place to start without fear or shame. Picture this, a grandmother in her 70s who once dreaded the night because she knew it meant broken sleep. She loved caring for her garden during the day, but fatigue made it harder. Once she began including a few bladder-supporting foods in her daily meals, she didn't turn into a brand new person overnight. But she noticed something subtle. Her nights became calmer, her mornings lighter, and her days more joyful. That's the kind of realistic, sustainable improvement we're aiming for, not perfection, but progress. Now, I won't keep you waiting too long, but I want to set the stage by explaining why foods matter so much here. The bladder, just like the heart or the brain, is made of tissues that respond to nutrients. Certain compounds calm inflammation, reduce irritation, and even help the bladder hold more comfortably without sending constant, go now, signals to the brain. On the other hand, foods high in caffeine, alcohol, or excess spice can aggravate the bladder lining. So, by choosing carefully, you're not only soothing the bladder but also training it to be more resilient as you age. The first of our 3 foods is one you may already have in your kitchen. It's crisp, refreshing, and often thought of as just a summer snack, but it hides an incredible gift for the bladder. And I'll share that in just a moment. But as we walk into this journey, I want you to lean in with an open heart. These foods aren't miracle cures. They are supportive allies, meant to give your body the strength it already knows how to harness. And when paired with simple lifestyle habits, like limiting fluids right before bed, practicing relaxation, and staying gently active during the day, they can make a noticeable difference. Let me also reassure you that making dietary changes doesn't mean giving up all the flavors you enjoy. It's about small, steady shifts. For example, adding in certain fruits or vegetables while gently reducing things that irritate the bladder, such as late-night coffee or carbonated drinks. You'll notice that when you do this consistently, the bladder seems to calm down. And when the bladder calms down, the whole body feels calmer. Sleep becomes deeper, mornings more refreshed, and your outlook more hopeful. As we continue, I'll walk you through each of the 3 foods, share why they matter, and how you can easily bring them into your daily life. But right now, I want you to take a breath and recognize this moment. By listening and learning, you're already investing in yourself. And that is a powerful step many people never take. The first bladder-friendly food I promise to reveal is cucumber. At first glance, it might not seem like much, just a cool, crunchy vegetable often added to salads for texture. But cucumbers are more than just filler. They're over 95% water, which makes them incredibly hydrating. And hydration is key, because when the body is even slightly dehydrated, the urine becomes more concentrated, irritating the bladder lining and triggering that urgent nighttime signal. By eating cucumbers, you hydrate gently and naturally, without overwhelming your system with large gulps of liquid right before bed. There's also something uniquely soothing about cucumbers. They contain compounds like flavonoids and antioxidants that calm irritation. Think of your bladder as a sensitive friend. It doesn't like being pushed, prodded, or overstimulated. Cucumbers provide a soft touch, cooling things down instead of firing things up. Many older adults who began snacking on cucumber slices in the afternoon reported fewer urges later in the evening. It's a small, almost effortless change, but the ripple effect on nighttime rest can be surprising. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Won't eating something so full of water make me go to the bathroom more, not less? That's a reasonable concern. The trick is timing. Including cucumbers earlier in the day helps you stay hydrated long before bedtime. That way, your body processes the extra fluid during waking hours, not at night. A handful of cucumber slices with lunch, or even as a mid-morning snack, can set the stage for a calmer evening. If you enjoy dips like hummus or yogurt, try pairing them with cucumber sticks. It's refreshing, bladder-friendly, and satisfying all at once. Let me share a real-life story here. A retired teacher I once worked with had struggled with nocturia for nearly a decade. She assumed it was just something she had to accept. When we talked about cucumbers, she laughed, saying, "I've eaten cucumbers my whole life, how could that possibly help?" But she gave it a try, adding cucumber slices daily around lunchtime. Within a few weeks, she noticed a shift. Instead of waking up 3 or 4 times, she was waking up once, sometimes not at all. She told me, with tears in her eyes, "I feel like I've been given back my nights." That's the power of something simple. Moving on to our second bladder-friendly food, let's talk about pumpkin seeds. These tiny, unassuming seeds pack a surprising punch for bladder health. For centuries, pumpkin seeds have been used in traditional remedies, especially in Europe, to support urinary function. Modern research has confirmed what folk wisdom always suspected: pumpkin seeds are rich in compounds like phytosterols, zinc, and omega-3 fatty acids that help strengthen the pelvic floor muscles and support healthy bladder control. You see, one of the reasons nocturia becomes more common with age is that the muscles around the bladder and urethra weaken. For men, prostate changes can add extra pressure. For women, years of childbirth and hormonal shifts during menopause can reduce muscle tone. Pumpkin seeds act like a natural tonic, gently nourishing these tissues so they can do their job more effectively. Imagine the bladder as a balloon. If the balloon walls are thin and weak, it can't hold much without signaling, "Empty me now." But if the walls are supported, they hold comfortably until the right time. A simple handful of roasted pumpkin seeds as an afternoon snack can make a meaningful difference over time. Some people prefer grinding them and sprinkling over oatmeal, yogurt, or even salads. There are even pumpkin seed extracts sold in health food stores, but honestly, I find the seeds themselves to be the most wholesome and enjoyable option. They're not just bladder-friendly, they're heart-healthy, rich in magnesium, and a wonderful source of plant-based protein. I recall a gentleman in his late 60s, a former carpenter, who was deeply frustrated by his nightly bathroom trips. He felt robbed of rest and embarrassed, even when visiting his grandchildren, because he'd often be the one awake in the middle of the night. After learning about pumpkin seeds, he committed to a daily handful. 6 weeks later, he shared that he had cut his nightly trips in half. "I never thought seeds would make me feel this different," he chuckled. But behind the laughter, there was relief. Relief that something natural, safe, and inexpensive could restore a sense of dignity. Now, before I share the third food, let's pause for a gentle reflection. Notice how these foods aren't strange, exotic, or hard to find. They're everyday blessings, often overlooked. Cucumbers, pumpkin seeds, and soon, our final food, they remind us that nature has already provided what we need. Sometimes we just need to be reminded to use it. The third bladder-friendly food is pears. Sweet, juicy, and soft, pears are often seen as just another fruit. But pears are uniquely gentle on the bladder compared to more acidic fruits like oranges or grapefruits. Acidic fruits can irritate the bladder lining, sparking urgency, while pears are low in acidity and high in fiber. This combination soothes rather than stirs up irritation. The fiber in pears also helps regulate digestion, which is more connected to bladder health than many people realize. When the bowels are constipated or sluggish, they can press on the bladder and trigger more nighttime urges. By keeping digestion smooth, pears indirectly calm the bladder too. There's also a psychological comfort to pears. For many of us, they carry memories of orchards, autumn harvests, or the simple joy of biting into a ripe piece of fruit on a summer day. Eating pears can be a reminder that healing doesn't always come in a bottle. Sometimes, it comes from reconnecting with the earth's simplest offerings. Let me share a story of a widowed man in his 70s who found comfort in pears. He had been struggling with sleep disturbances for years, often waking up 2 or 3 times a night. He started eating a pear in the early evening, around dinner time, instead of reaching for cookies or other sweet snacks. After a few weeks, he noticed not only fewer bathroom trips but also gentler digestion and better energy in the mornings. He said, "It feels like such a small thing, but it makes me feel cared for, from the inside out." By now, you can see how these 3 foods, cucumbers, pumpkin seeds, and pears, work in harmony. Cucumbers hydrate and cool, pumpkin seeds strengthen and support, and pears soothe and balance. Each one addresses a different piece of the nocturia puzzle. And together, they create a foundation for calmer nights and brighter mornings. But I don't want you to think of this as just adding foods. It's about creating small rituals of care. When you slice cucumbers for lunch, when you reach for pumpkin seeds instead of chips, when you savor a pear in the evening, you're not just eating, you're telling your body, "I care for you. I want you to rest well tonight." And that message matters. Because health is not just physical, it's emotional, spiritual, and relational too. So, here's my gentle suggestion: try introducing these foods one at a time. Notice how your body responds. Give yourself patience. Healing is not a race. It's a relationship, built day by day with kindness and consistency. And remember, these foods are not a cure-all. They're part of a bigger picture that includes good sleep hygiene, stress management, and listening to your body's unique needs. Now that we've explored the 3 bladder-friendly foods, let's talk briefly about the habits that make them even more effective. Because as powerful as cucumbers, pumpkin seeds, and pears can be, their impact multiplies when combined with mindful daily choices. One of the simplest is fluid timing. Many seniors unknowingly drink large amounts of water or tea in the evening, which almost guarantees more bathroom trips at night. By shifting most of your hydration to earlier in the day and slowing down after dinner, you give your body the time it needs to process fluids before bedtime. Pairing this with cucumber slices or a pear at midday means you're still nourished and hydrated, but not overloaded late at night. Another helpful habit is gentle movement. Simple activities like walking, light stretching, or gardening strengthen circulation and digestion, both of which ease the pressure on the bladder. When your bowels move regularly, the bladder feels less compressed, making it easier to sleep through the night. Pairing a small walk with your afternoon snack of pumpkin seeds, for example, creates a ritual that nurtures body and mind together. And perhaps most importantly, stress management plays a quiet but powerful role. The bladder is sensitive to stress, just like the stomach or heart. If you're anxious or tense, it tends to be more irritable, sending false signals. This is why relaxation practices, whether prayer, deep breathing, or simply sitting in silence with a cup of warm herbal tea, help calm not only the mind but also the body's urge to wake you up unnecessarily. I want to close with a reminder that goes beyond food and habits. Your journey with nocturia, or with any health challenge at this stage of life, is not about perfection. It's about progress, comfort, and dignity. Every small step, every cucumber slice, every handful of pumpkin seeds, every gentle walk is a way of saying to yourself, I still matter. My rest matters. My health matters. Too often, seniors are told to just accept discomforts as part of aging. But you deserve better. You deserve restful nights and energized days. So as you carry these 3 foods and these simple habits into your life, carry also the belief that change is possible. The body, even in its later years, is capable of responding with gratitude to gentle care. And when you begin to sleep more soundly, when you wake with more lightness in your step, you'll see how even the simplest choices can create profound change. Thank you for sharing this time with me. If this message resonated with you, I encourage you to subscribe, share this video with a loved one, and leave a comment about your own journey. Together, we can build a community of seniors who not only endure aging but embrace it with wisdom, strength, and hope. Your nights can be calmer, your days brighter, and your spirit lighter. And it all begins with the humble, healing gifts of food.